Good evening. Today is April 19, 2021, and this is the 48th episode of New Paradigms. I'm your host, Sargis Sangari. My guest today is again my good friend Masako Ganaha, who is coming to us today from Japan. As you all know, the last time I had Masako here on our show, it was on March 1st, and we were able to discuss her coverage of what she was looking at internally in the United States when it came to Antifa, the Chinese Communist Party's information operations here. And she spent the last 5 months in the States collecting information, looking at the immigration crisis. And today we are going to be speaking to her in reference to her travels to South America and what she was able to find out when it came to the immigration crisis that we are facing today. She was born in Okinawa, and she recently was welcomed by 250 supporters in Okinawa, where she gave a speech with 6,000 watching her broadcast live on social media. And it has been shared to where now 60,000 individuals have seen her talk. She also went to Osaka, Japan, where she was again welcomed by 150 of the supporters of her program as an independent journalist. And she is planning on continuing her travels in Japan to discuss furthermore about what she learned when she came to the United States and how America is looking at the crisis internally and externally, understanding that the effects that all these have on us, to include our allies overseas. Before we begin talking to her, we're going to go to a short video that is going to show what she was able to capture when she was in South America. Gana, it's good to have you back on the show. I did want to go ahead and discuss in more details as to what you were able to experience when you were here in the United States. I know you spent at least 5 months here. God bless you for all the work that you did here. Give us a bit of an insight as far as lessons learned and what you're able to take back to Japan.
Thank you very much for having me again, Colonel Sangari. The video that you saw just now is the footage that I took from the border of El Paso side. And we went there at night, and we were just to look for something that may be happening. We did not know that's going to happen right in front of us when we got there. And that was my first time actually visiting border area. So I did not know anything that what I would see there. And this is not just one. I have many other footage that we saw. The border patrol from Mexico were escorting those who tried to cross the border illegally and got caught. And so this is the actual footage. And since I was broadcasting to Japanese viewers, I was speaking in Japanese, but I was describing, oh, they are the ones who just got caught right in front of us, something like this. Yes.
No, I know in the video I saw you have Chuck Holton, who's there. He's No, he's a good journalist when it comes to war correspondents are concerned. You were there with Michael Yon too, who I just had on the show last week. I wanted to take a look at your experience. I know that you've heard a lot that is coming through, especially the Darien Gap, which Michael looked at last week. Tell us about your approaches. Is the information that's coming to us true with what is happening along that gap? I know that there was a young lady that you guys had befriended, and you were tracking her progress through the Darien Gap. And I do know that, unfortunately, her mom was put in a very difficult position, and she had to use whatever money she had to be able to escape that particular position she was put in. What is the sense that you got as to what is happening along that southern border and in the trail that is coming up into the southern border?
Okay, so I was there with world famous war correspondents, Michael Yon and then Chuck Holton. And also we are with Todd Bensman. He's been researching this migrant issue and have published a book, The Border Issue. And he wrote about the migrant issue is not only the migrants, but the smugglers or terrorists who are disguising as migrants and trying to get into the United States. And so we went there, and what surprised me was I had an idea. It was just my image. Whoever tried to cross the border, it's illegal. So they may get shot. So then they're trying not to have people cross the border. But I heard this term, catch and release, from one of the border patrol who was chasing them. It was very dark, and suddenly one of the border patrol flashed light, and he was doing like this to search migrants. And I asked him, what are you gonna do if you find them? And then that was different location, by the way. And he said they just gonna catch and then release. And I was so surprised. That easy. And so he said that it's an adult version of hide and seek. And so
yeah, it's unfortunate. It's actually dangerous.
From the
No, go ahead, Masako. I know that you're in Japan, so we have a little bit of a delay between us. But yeah, it is very dangerous. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who lose their lives. I know even and when you involve the politics in the process with the catch and release program, even yesterday, the current POTUS, President Biden, had mentioned that is a crisis. Today, the White House was trying to backtrack on those comments. So it has become very difficult, and especially for those Border Patrol officers who are trying to execute whatever is a policy of the day that is being executed on the border. I know there was a young lady we mentioned that you had tracked on. Tell us a little bit about her story, if you don't mind, so people can get a kind of a sense as to how it's affecting these individuals that are coming through.
Yes, so we went to Colombia, Necoclí. This is the place where migrants take boats to the entry of the jungle, Darien Gap. And so we are at the boat. There are many migrants who are trying to pay money to get on a boat. So I found those two siblings, one elderly girl named Madesi Batista. And then she was with her brother, Michael. And I started to talk with her, but since I could not speak in Spanish, I used Google Translator using my phone. And then I asked her simple questions. Where are you from? How old are you? And then the funny thing was that her brother asked me which kind of iPhone that I have. So from that question, I realized, oh, those kids are not aware of what's going to happen to them. I heard what's going to happen to them because Chuck Holton has been following those migrants in many places, and he heard actual story from many migrants and women's getting raped, or almost everybody gets robbed by those people who are in jungle trying to take whatever they can from those migrants. And little kids, babies died from disease or snakes. Yes, so this is the picture of Madaisi. And actually last night I was chatting with her, and she said I think she feels lonely because she has to go through many difficult situations. And I asked her, what have you seen in Darien Gap and what you experienced? And she replied to me and said, it was very frightening. They stolen everything and raped many women, snake and listen monkeys, and almost violate me. I think what she meant was she saw many snakes and listened monkeys, scary screaming, and I think she was about to be attacked or raped, or because she's very pretty. But she said, but thank God they asked for a gold chain to my mother and tell her to leave. So that's what I heard. And then I kind of felt sorry. I know what they're doing is illegal, but I see these little kids not aware of what they're doing, what their parents are doing, and they just feel so sad. And I asked her, let's change subject. So what's the thing that you experienced? What's the most happiest thing that happened to you? And she said, chatting with you, which means she's happy to chat with me. So those little kids have no idea, and they just followed parents and just, I don't know. The expression that Chuck Holton used, the Michael Young used, the negative and positive osmotic pressure.
Yes.
So there are negative side that migrants decide that they should leave their country, and also they have a positive pressure that the United States give free stuff so that they have hope. Oh, if we go to the United States, we would have freedom and they will take care of us. So Madaisi looked like she only looks for the positive side, that she hopes that she will have better life, but they don't know that they're gonna have difficult, they have to go through difficult situations. And I feel very sorry for those kids. And also what they're doing, I know when we talk about kids, we just feel sorry because we don't know, we cannot say that those kids who are not aware of the things that they're doing, but we cannot talk about anything just from our feelings. We have country that we have to protect. For example, I live in Japan, so I have to protect my country. And United States, you have to protect the United States. So those media, biased media, are trying to use our feelings and make us feel terribly sorry for those little kids, and then fully accept them. Oh, we feel sorry, you can do whatever you want. It's very easy, and so many people are deceived by those tricks. Even Japanese people. In Japan, we have mainstream media like you do in the United States. So we don't have any truth. No media will try to tell us the truth. So when I was giving a debrief speech in Okinawa, I explained what happened and what I saw in South America. And I explained them how those people or smugglers use kids to anchor them. So actually those little kids are used to benefit them. And when they heard what I said, they were so shocked.
Well,
so
look,
that's the situation that I see, yeah.
Masako, I think you kind of laid it out, especially with the young lady that you're talking about. You know, there's an old expression when a person has lost everything, they have at least something remaining, which is hope. And when you're younger, hope is really what drives you. And as you said, you know, to you is a strange question when a young man who's about to enter the Darien Gap is asking what type of iPhone you have, because they're kind of clueless about what they might be facing. I've been in Panama. I've actually gone to the jungle training in Panama itself when we had the center there when I was in the service. And I could tell you, you know, it's very dangerous when you got even small frogs that are poisonous, that if you cut through them not knowing and you cut your hand, somehow they could actually, the poison can kill you. You have water moccasins everywhere. The howling monkeys, the young lady who's on the screen who was talking about the monkeys, when they come after you, they'll come after you. They'll harass you all night. They will try to take your equipment. When I was a soldier, and I've seen them break the nose of a soldier too, who was trying to struggle with a small howling monkey because he didn't want to give up his equipment, that his helmet that the howling monkey had grabbed onto. And they throw feces at you and urine at you. If they believe that you were somebody who may have agitated one of the monkeys or had hurt one of them or even may have killed one of them. And they will not leave you alone. We've had to actually, in the past when I was in Panama, pull units, soldiers out of the field because of it. In the evening, if you lay down, you have ants that will crawl all over you. And we're not talking about small ants that you may see. We're talking about ants that can really hurt you biting. There's an ant that's called a bullet ant because their bite is almost being shot with a handgun. So this young lady, and you saw she has no protective gear on. She negotiated that entire Darien Gap, and in the process, as she's coming through that Darien Gap, depending on if it's a monsoon season or not knowing where she's going, you have individuals who are trafficking you through there that in this case had basically wanted to rape her mom or rape other members that are coming through the Darien Gap. And then the only resource you have to maybe feed yourself once you get to your final destination, now you have to turn on and give that even a gold chain to these traffickers, because they only care about making money. They could care less about whether or not this young lady, her brother, or her family members make it to the final destination. And as you saw, as you were talking, we were putting some basically screen captures of the various different policies that are maybe driving the want and desire for these individuals to come to the United States. And I think overall, it is not beneficial to what we're trying to do when it comes to political debate. I'm not sure if Japan has been able to solve those issues itself, and I wanted to kind of gather your perspective. How much pressure is on Japan today to where Japan has to start receiving the type of migrants and immigrants that are coming maybe even out of the Middle Eastern countries, the war-torn countries, into Japan?
In Japan, what we have experiencing now is the same propaganda you face in the United States. So those groups who says that they're trying to protect those migrants or refugees, what they do usually, they do same thing to split the country, Japan, and then conquer. Those people who do propaganda in many general topics, they're the same people. So I'm from Okinawa and I'm Japanese, but same people who trying to push this policy are claiming that Okinawan people are not Japanese. It's kind of complicated, but it's same tactics, divide and conquer. Getting many migrants without any concern, it's like having their problem in the country. Accepting migrants means that we move those issues from one place to the other. And then, so it can cause division. Yes, so this is the
that's correct. That's correct.
And those people use different propaganda about same tactics, saying that Okinawan people are not Japanese people, and so that we should claim our rights as Okinawan people, not as Japanese. That's like having many race issue, fake issues within Japan. And that's how they are trying to divide one country, Japan or United States. That's happening all over the world, I hear. And so it's like a weapon. They're using migrants as a weapon to attack each country. That's happening in Japan, happening in the United States. And I recall President Trump was saying that he made a policy that once migrants fill out application for asylum, they have to wait outside of the country. And that worked well. But then, because before that, people can just go in the United States and then they claim asylum and then they're allowed to stay there. And while they wait for this process to go through, they just disappear. And in Japan, many people are trying to seek asylum. Yes. And when they fail, they can change the little bit information.
Yeah, I was going to say,
go ahead,
you're right. I understand those policy issues. Yeah, no, that's okay. I know we have a little bit of a delay. This is what happens, but it's just part of the process of live interviews. But we do know that those issues exist, and I know Japan, even going back to years ago, was under a lot of pressure to receive new migrants, especially when there was an ongoing fight. At the same time that, as we discussed last time I had you on the show, that there was actually a ISIS cell that was operating in Japan. So you have to kind of balance the security with the want and desire to help folks. But in the process, it seems like from what you're telling us is more people are getting injured and hurt and being put in really difficult positions as they're trying to come to the United States. And a lot of them are being pushed to do it illegally, to the illegal channels, thinking that that's going to pay off better for them. And unfortunately, as you said, these kids and these individuals become pawns in the political game, and unfortunately, nobody really achieves anything out of it. That doesn't mean that you come to the United States tomorrow, you're going to have a perfect lifestyle. You have to work hard. You'll always be under the fear that you might be deported because you're now illegally in the country. As you said, that the current administration even says, well, we're going to change the word illegal alien. You could call it whatever you want. You could call it pink puppies and not even use that word. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the status of those individuals and some of the difficulties they face and the economic pressures. You know yourself, the Bank of Japan in 2014 bought a lot of the U.S. debt, and I think a lot of people even know today in Japan and U.S. that U.S. is really working off of inflation as far as the dollar is concerned, where even Europe is now looking at the U.S. dollar and is able to mark its capabilities based on what is the inflation status of the U.S. dollar to where the euro is going to be. And unfortunately, with everything that we're dealing with, some of the coverages you had done on China itself, as far as how CCP is trying with its new dollar through the China Corporation Organization to affect a lot of the different issues within the U.S. And how they're trying to control the South American countries by ensuring that migrants are used as a weapon, just like Turkey used them against Europe to hold Europe hostage, to try to get money not into the coffers of those South American nations, but it goes to the South American nations and to the conglomerates of the Chinese Communist Party. And a lot of this, I don't think, gets calculated by the young lady who just wants to come to the United States. She doesn't think at the strategic level how she's being used by these multinational forces that are trying to jockey themselves. And then in the United States, when you have one party that just wants to win elections in 2024, it will do whatever it can to ensure its voting bases become larger. Because once you come to the country, if you're given an opportunity to vote and get citizenship, even though you came through these processes of the Darien Gap, maybe came here illegally, all they care about is the fact that once they know they're the ones who brought you here, you will never be able to break allegiance away from them, because now you're beholden to those individuals. So it's unfortunate, but there's international, national, and also other things that are driving this. And we'll see. I hope that the young lady is doing well now. Where is she? I know you talked to her yesterday. Where is she at right now physically in the process of trying to come to the United States?
Oh, I didn't ask her where she was last night, but I believe that she is in Guatemala.
Okay. Masako, with a closeout, from an ally perspective, what would you give? And you know what? I can ask. If I ask for advice, then of course, I'm asking from an American perspective. If you're as an ally, what would you advise based on what you're seeing? What do you see America's role in this, and where do you see America can kind of find a good balance as to taking care of these people, but making sure that they don't become ploys in international politics?
I think that those people who support migration, they're not all bad, or most of them are, I think, deceived by media. So I think it's very important that how they are deceived by using their feelings. So they are also used, their taxpayer money are also used to attack their own country. So in short, they are kind of attacking themselves. So I think it's very important that people who goes into deep in politics, I'm sure that they love United States, they love their country. So it's very important to let them know that they are actually attacking your country. So then they would, I believe that they will realize.
Look, it's well said. What happens sometimes, they get involved in that game, and unfortunately, they're so beholden to that game in politics that they're not able to break themselves off in the long run. They're committed to a goal that is really detrimental to the nation, but they still continue to follow it because they've invested so much of their life and dollars and time to that particular road that it's very hard to get them to say, you might have to choose a new path. Unfortunately, fortunately, I should say, the people who love their country will understand that and will be able to move in the right direction. Where is the next city you're going to visit in Japan, and when is the next speech you're going to give? And is there any cities in Japan that you're not planning on visiting? And if so, why?
Next, I'm going to go to Fukuoka. It's a southern part of Japan, and give debrief speech. and then go to Tokyo. So many people have donated me and supported my work. That means that many Japanese people are still worried about United States. And we still believe in good fight of American conservatives. And since we do not get any information from conservative perspective of view because of the mainstream media, I really like to encourage people to watch your shorts or the other conservative media. And please remember that Japanese people are watching United States and encouraging American conservatives.
Well, Masako, thank you very much. Look, we got to get it right here in the U.S. because if you don't get it right, it will have catastrophe written all over it when it comes to the global economy. You are talking about an absolute free fall of the entire world economy if the U.S. doesn't get it right. And like I said, right now, we've been in a almost on an inflation going back years ago, decades ago, and I don't know if the current dollar and the way it stands and what is happening in our country is going to be able to sustain itself, which is a reason why some of our adversaries like China have introduced different currencies to include cryptocurrencies that are out there to see if they can become a possible replacement. As a reality, that young lady who's coming here, she has no clue that she's coming to a very difficult time in the United States, difficult life, and you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work 24/7, and you're going to have to dedicate yourself as much as possible. And the taxpayer money that you're going to have to pay into, whether you pay taxes or not, the money that you're going to be paying through tax is going to go back and continue this madness, which individuals constantly committing to that daring gap. And I don't know if it's gonna serve a purpose. We did put your QR up for our viewers if they want to read a little bit more about you. I know that they're gonna go to a Japanese written site, but I think that the videos will speak for themselves. I can't wait to have you back in the States. Maybe we'll come see you in Japan, and you're always welcome to come on the show. And I wish you best. And I think you are not just an upcoming independent journalist in Japan. I think you're going to be one of the leading independent journalists going forward in Japan. Much appreciate your time, and I will give you the last word before we go to the videos that you had shot, one of the videos when you were in South America.
Thank you so much. It was a great honor to be able to appear on your show. Yes.
Thank you very much, Masako. God bless. And this is New Paradigms.
Thank you.
And they've got the army out here helping them, he said. So there's a light up on top of that.
Yeah, I saw some National Guard.
And there's a campfire up there. He said, yeah, that's the army. They're helping kind of post this area right now.
Oh, what would happen if we kind of got near one of those campfires?
Well, we'd be in Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, it's on the mic side.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, we'd be arrested for crossing illegally into Mexico. That might be a thing.
We could be here and they could be there.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal.
Well, they're a little further.
It's just illegal to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said, yeah, it's kind of bad right now.
So I guess drug smuggling's not so difficult.
Depends how much money you got. Everybody's got a price.
Can you do a little translation for me over there?
Yeah, if you'll talk. Hang on, let me take a picture. Don't move. Wait, stop.
だから2人アメリカ人のジャーナリストっていうかその道のプロの人なんですが、その一人の方がスペイン語がペラペラなので、アメリカ人のもう一人の人が、ちょっと通訳手伝ってくれんかって言って 今からそれをやります。さっきの移民局の人です。
INN?
Sí, INM,
Ah, ok.
de migración.
Tell me,
Dígame
now that Biden is the president
que,
over here,
que ahora tenemos presidente
今
Biden.
バイデン大統領になりましたが、
what is the migrant
¿Qué está viendo
State of
con los
mind.
migrantes y su
この移民したい
estado de
人たち
mente?
の考えは
¿Qué,
ど
qué
うな
está
ってますか？
pensando ellos
バイデン大統
de
領に
los
なって
cambios
か
que
ら。
va a pasar acá en este lado?
Pues lo que hemos escuchado de ellos quieren cruzar porque según va a haber nuevas regulaciones para ellos.
Ajá, ajá. Que piensen que va a cambiar
Que va
mucho,
a cambiar,
van
sí.
a estar bienvenidos en los Estados Unidos.
Sí, tienen, de alguna manera tienen esa idea.
Ajá, sí, sí. Ah,
Sí, sí,
pues,
sí. Pero bueno, hay que esperar.
sí, sí.
what
And
do you
he's
say?
telling them that they need to wait.
Uh-huh.
Hay que esperar. You have to wait.
Uh-huh.
多分彼
Has
ら
he
は
heard
移民
that,
したい人はちゃんと待た
that
ないといけない
groups
よ
of
って
them
言
will
ってます。
charge?
¿Ha escuchado de esos grupos que corren juntos para cruzar en un grupo grande,
Like they did it on the bridge.
como en el puente,
Ya, ya.
que están como un bonsai?
Pues aquí hemos agarrado grupos de 20 o 30 personas.
Here we've seen groups of 20 to 30 people.
ここは20名、30名の人たちが
Pero
グループが
hoy
入り
día,
来ようとしてい
hoy en día,
るのを見
today
ま
we've
す。
seen that.
Sí, todos los días.
Sí, y cuando crucen, si pueden lograr el crucero, el patrullaje en este lado, lo agarran.
Así es, sí, sí, los compañeros son muy eficaces, ellos nos apoyan mucho. Bueno, nosotros tratamos de impedir lo que nos llega a pasar, ellos lo agarran.
So they try to stop them, but sometimes they get around them, and then the border patrol will grab them when they get to this side.
でメキシコの人、パトロ
After
ールが
November 3rd,
捕まえようとしてもしそれエスケープされたらアメリカ側が捕ま
¿Ha
えるんだ
visto
よって言ってます。
un cambio en su lado después de las elecciones aquí en el 3 de noviembre? ¿O ha subido el monto de migrantes?
Sigue igual.
No, it just keeps going the same.
okay.
See, here comes the army. Ese es el ejército.
あ、奥から網が来まし
De
た。
hecho, si se mantienen ahí ahorita,
Ajá.
me están bajando gente.
Ah, están bajando gente. Ahorita.
Me traen gente ahorita. Déjame checar.
Okay. He's gonna check. He thinks that's actually migrants.
我々はあれアーミーと思ったんですが、あっちにいてチェックしました。あれ移民の人たちじゃないかっていう奥の人たち。They are.
The military got him.
There are 2, 8.
Oh yeah, that guy's it's National Guard out there.
Yeah, but then
So where are they taking them? Ask them where they're taking them.
見つかった人たち。
he's lining them up right here. Hey, Mace. Federal agent, Mexican federal agent on the Mexican side, a group of migrants came down there escorted by some Mexican right here up against the fence and was registering them.
今ですね、 見つかった移民の人たちを壁の方にこうやって一列に並ばせている状況ですね。
¿Su nombre, por favor? Jorge.
Delgado. ¿No viene usted? ¿No me viene usted?
¿Edad?
49.
¿Nacionalidad?
Cubano. ¿Tienen manera de que puedan llegar por lo menos por medio de una fotografía? Nada de eso.
¿Nombre, por favor?
¿Sí? ¿Tu permiso?
¿Marlon? Alejandro. Suárez. Nacionalidad cubana. Nombre por favor. Navy. Giovanni.